tonight, on a Nation Sports Show, we break down the 2024 NBA Draft. And also tonight, we bring to you our analysis on the NBA's offseason as free agency is just getting started. This intro is not enough to tell you all of the signings, trades, and money spent so far. It's showtime.
Good up to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
All right, here we go, folks. We are here, we are live, we are ready to rock and roll, baby. It is that time once again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. I am Ezra Rickery, and this is our Nation Sports Show. We thank you guys once again for joining us live here on a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. We got a lot to get into, obviously. So much to get into. Of course, the NBA free agency has begun. There's a lot to get into on that. Definitely some NFL news, NHL news, of course. You know, NHL draft just happened after the Stanley Cup victory. So we got that going on. Baseball, of course, MMA, and more. So join us for the next hour and a half to 2 hours as we rip it and get ready to talk all things sports. Excuse me. But let's get into first the ways you can interact with us. And that is, of course, at ON_Sports Show on Twitter/X, Facebook.com/Our Nation Sports Show, and Instagram.com/Our Nation Sports Show. Don't forget to also follow us here on the YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Of course, follow us here. Interact with us right now in the chat if you can. We'd love to hear from you guys. We'd also love for you guys to, of course, like our individual social medias, which are in the description of the video, as well as our social media pages. Don't forget also to follow Nation's Corner, The Nation's Corner on YouTube. And of course, The Nation's Corner and Nation's Corner everywhere else on your social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Follow them there, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time, every Saturday, same time as this show, where the guys and gals talk all things professional wrestling. And, of course, after AEW Forbidden Door this week, it's going to be an amazing, amazing show for them to talk about with that, the stuff with the Wyand 6 from last night. There's just a hell of a lot to get into already. And we're only into Tuesday, and plus NXT Heat Wave also coming up this weekend with Money in the Bank as well the night after. So just a hell of a lot of wrestling to get into this weekend, and I'm sure the guys and gal will cover it all 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time. And of course, follow at 2 Sweet Cosplay across all socials. That is on my wrestling themed cosplay group. We are working on getting some things set for the later end of this year in August and September. So please be on the lookout of our social medias at 2 Sweet Cosplay for all your up-to-date information on everything cosplay related. All right, enough of my spiel, enough of my talking. Let's introduce the crew we got here. And of course, we got with us here, on my bottom here, this guy is the king. He truly is the king of everything Crimson Tide, Braves, and everything in between. Mr. JT, I did not get arrested in for DUI. Justin Timberlake, Joey Thornton.
Okay, first off, I would never get arrested for a DUI because, for one, I'm smarter than that. But I digress. Anyways, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having an amazing Tuesday. And like Steven said in his intro, I mean, we got NBA free agency galore. I mean, we got plenty of deals that have been made to talk about, to give our analysis on, and we're going to be giving it to you all right here, right now. But, of course, we still got to introduce Mr. Rock and Roll Dave Grohl lookalike down there. So without further ado, let's get to that, shall we? Who's also a Carolina Panthers fan.
Oh,
Shut up.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
No, it's not true.
It's about as true. It's about as true as a dirt sheet writer when he write about everything. It's about as true as Dave Meltzer. By the way, this show would be a 6-star show, 7 if it was in the Tokyo Dome. But getting back to our introductions here, is my heavy metal brother from the great state of North Carolina. I usually have a witty intro, but I didn't think of anything this week, so here he is. It's the big man himself, Mr. Big Stevie Wyand. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. How y'all feeling? Listen, it's a Tuesday. You know what that means. It's real. It's raw.
It's Tuesday.
Live.
You know what that means.
Yes, our inner Paul Stanley Excalibur, phenomenal. We are here. We are allowed to talk about all things sports, and yeah, that intro was not enough to tell you all what's going on. I mean, you get a max contract. You get a max contract. Everybody gets a max contract. I mean, lots of signings, lots of new homes for NBA players, lots of trades, all that good stuff. And, of course, the NHL had their free agency starting. I believe it was yesterday. Yes, it was yesterday. And Nashville making some moves early on in the offseason so far. And, of course, the NBA with their offseason, and the draft happened last week, and for the first time in NBA history, it was a 2-day affair as far as 60 picks were drafted, and we will get to that, and including all of the news in the NBA offseason. So without further ado, let's get to it.
Yes, sir. We got a lot to get into, and let's get right into it with this. And we're going to shift gears a little bit. Let's talk a little bit, start off with some UFC. UFC 303 happened this weekend. Of course, card has been plagued with injuries, plagued with issues. Conor McGregor, of course, Michael Chandler was supposed to headline this card. Fortunately, Conor McGregor suffered an injury, and the fight had to be postponed. One other fight also got postponed due to an injury, too, at the last second. So another fight had to be in place. But it was still a good card nonetheless. Some great fights.
Man, I will say real quick.
The main event between that main event. Oh shit! Guess what?
Shit!
Oh boy!
You know what?
Look who is here, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up? What's up?
Laker fans,
Kevin Rory.
Laker fans, it's your worst nightmare.
Oh, dude.
You know what?
Yeah.
Guess what? We're
Yes,
here.
indeed.
Let's talk a little bit of some NBA. Let's get right into it, Kevin. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about it. The NBA draft happened, and what happened? As predicted, as seen in the crystal ball, as told by Miss Cleo back in the 80s, it was more predictable than Swerve Strickland beating Will Ospreay at freaking Forbidden Door. And that is Bronny James heading to Lakers to join his father. Kevin, please lead the floor.
Please, Kevin, the floor is yours, buddy.
Okay, let me just get one thing straight here.
Hold on. I gotta leave 4 minutes before this happens. I'll be right back.
Okay, listen. I'm not. Oh, by the way, hope everybody's doing good out there. Popped in a little late for a little bit, but anyway, I'm not mad at LeBron. It's not LeBron's fault because at the end of the day, as a dad, I understand he's a great dad, good role model, raised Bronny the right way, got Bronny living the right life.
Yeah.
All respect. 100%. My problem is with this fucking organization. The Los Angeles Lakers, you are not making winning basketball decisions. I mean, God almighty. You're like the Dallas Cowboys, for crying out loud, with Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and keeping it in the family. You're not making winning decisions. You're just trying to bring in money. You're trying to bring in a circus. You're trying to bring in a shit show. That's all the Los Angeles Lakers have been since the last title run with Kobe Bryant. Oh, let's bring in Dwight Howard. Let's bring in Steve Nash. Let's do this. And it's been the same old story, different year, every single year for almost over a decade. So now there is no way in shape or form, and I mean strictly on basketball, Bronny James is not one of the 58 best players in the world. No way, no how, absolutely. And both things can be true. Half of the side says, "Oh, I'm happy for him," and yada yada yada, and then the other half is, "Oh, we already know why Bronny got drafted." But you know what? Both things can be true, because that's what it is. I'm happy for LeBron. I'm happy that that's history. I am. I respect that. I love that. As a parent, I love to see it. However, we know why he got drafted. It's not because he was averaging 30 points a game in the ACC. He played in the fucking Pac-12 on a shit show USC team, and Bronny James averaged 4 points a game. Doesn't even start. Averages 4 points a game. And it's beyond me, because there's other guys more deserving. And DJ Burns from NC State literally carried NC State in the entire fucking NCAA tournament. Guess what? He's undrafted. The guy, I don't know his name, but the guy that started over Bronny at USC averaged 18 points a game, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds. He didn't get drafted, but Bronny does? I mean, stop it. Stop it. And then Rich Paul. That's the only winner out of this whole fucking debacle, is Rich Paul, because of the Nike marketing advertising. I can see it now. The commercials are endless. Oh, like father, like son, Nike, be great. Yada, yada, yada. Lakers, be great. Oh, Lakers, come to the Lake Show. Come see the Lakers, father and son play. I do not care. I do not care. I mean, and I know I'm going to talk about free agency a little bit, but guess what? I'll go ahead and give you a sneak peek. This is the reason Klay Thompson chose to sign with the Dallas Mavericks over the shit show in Los Angeles, because you got a head coach in Dallas. You got a system in Dallas. You play winning basketball in Dallas. Not this fucking circus in Los Angeles that they got going around. It's you got Rich Paul out there telling people, "Oh, do not draft Bronny. You better not draft Bronny, or he's going overseas." This shit was set up for the Lakers to draft Bronny. I do not care what nobody says. They set this up because he was telling teams, "Oh, if you decide to draft Bronny, Bronny's going to withdraw and go play overseas. Only the Lakers drafted Bronny. Nobody but the Lakers." This shit was set up, man. It literally makes the sport of basketball look like absolute trash. Literal absolute trash. I mean, there is no roster spot on a 15-man roster where Bronny James needs to be on right now. Does he have potential? Yes. I said that. He does. But you know what? I mean, with all due respect, Bronny is 6'1". Bronny is undersized as it is. What is he going to do when he's in a mismatch with Joel Embiid's big ass down low? He's going to get dunked on. What is he going to do when bigger guys? I mean, people call Steph Curry undersized. Let me just say, Steph Curry's 6'3". Bronny is 6'1". There is no place on an NBA roster for Bronny James. G League, yes. But they already came out today and said Bronny's going to be definitely an active member on the Lakers roster. Stop it. There's no freaking way he should be on that roster. I mean, with all due respect and love to LeBron James, but this organization is a complete shit show.
Real quick, Kev, real quick. Was it Ellis for USC that averaged 16.5?
I think it was. It was their starting point guard.
He averaged 16.5 points a game. Continue.
Yeah. And Bronny averaged 4.8, but somehow Bronny's a better player than you know what.
You know, my personal opinion, and obviously I'm not going to go as long as Kevin did, but yeah, now that Bronny is on the Lakers and he's going to be teaming up with his dad, obviously he's going to be an active part of the
ESPN commercial.
organization because LeBron's going to make sure of it. But what it all comes down to is the Lakers, even with the roster that they got now, even though they were able to get into the first round and draft Dalton Connect out of Tennessee, who I've seen Dalton Connect play, not live, of course, but I've seen him play on TV, and that boy's a sharpshooter. I mean, I'll admit, he's going to be a great versatile playmaker once he gets about a year or two under his belt. But other than that, the Lakers, they just don't have the talent to go anywhere right now. And honestly, now that LeBron and Bronny are on the same team, I can see nothing happening to split up that duo. They will cut Anthony freaking Davis before they cut Bronny. And
mind you, to add to this also too, Joey, Anthony Davis is the reason why they won the Mickey Mouse Championship in 2020. He is the reason why LeBron has that 4th championship.
It wasn't LeBron. It sure as hell wasn't LeBron.
Anthony Davis, the broken toy in all, for once stayed fully put together in 2020 and led that Lakers team to their 17th title. Not LeBron.
I mean, seriously, they will cut Anthony Davis before they even think about cutting Bronny. And that's pathetic.
And also to add what Kevin is saying as well, I don't blame Klay Thompson for not wanting to go with the Lakers or the Clippers, because Klay Thompson sees in both organizations what they're about. Egos. Klay Thompson is about winning. Go ahead, Kev.
This goes back to one man and one man only. Rob Pelinka.
Who doesn't know how to be a GM to save his life.
Since LeBron came to it's Rob Pelinka. Because let's be honest, Darwin Ham in no way, shape, or form should have been fired, should have been terminated. He took that pathetic roster to the Western Conference Finals just last year, got to the first round this year with that bad roster and gets canned. It's ridiculous. And then, not to mention, Frank Vogel, with all due respect, he won a championship and they split the entire fucking team up. Oh, we won with Dwight Howard, Danny Green, Rajon Rondo. Nope, you're all gone. Let's get rid of you. Why are you getting rid of a team that just won a championship? Even though it was the bubble, why are you splitting up a team that just won a championship? Why did you give the boot to Dwight Howard? Why did you get Rondo out?
And they were credible players, too. Rondo was a savvy veteran. Rondo was a veteran who already won a title with the Celtics in 08. And Danny Green, he's won multiple championships at that point with the Spurs and Toronto.
It just goes back to and then all the talent that the Lakers have just drafted, gone throughout. And you know what? We should have seen this Bronny pick coming. You know why? Because it's about money. And you know why? I'll give you a deja vu moment. Lakers drafted fucking Lonzo Ball over Jason Tatum and De'Aaron Fox. That should have told you everything you need to know about Rob Pelinka and the Los Angeles Lakers. Oh, we want the money and the attention from Lonzo and LeVar Ball. Let's go draft him. Now look, Tatum's a top player in the world. De'Aaron Fox is the top player in the world. And Lonzo Ball can't stay healthy for the last 2 fucking seasons. Hasn't played a single game.
And what does Tatum have over Ball? A championship.
What are we doing?
The Lakers, as long as LeBron keeps operating and pulling the strings, they will never, ever win another championship.
I can see that look all over Kobe Bryant's face. May his soul rest in peace. I can see that look on his face at the catastrophe Rob Pelinka is doing. He wants to hang a banner, and the Lakers are over there jumping in. Yippee! Whoopee! We won a regular season in-season tournament. Yay! What? And Kobe, I could see it all over his face if he was here right now. Like, What are we doing?
Oh, could you imagine if Kobe was alive and he was
He's
here seeing
rolling
this?
in his
He would
grave.
be pissed. He would be pissed if he
He's
was
rolling in
physically
his
here.
grave right now.
He'd be laughing until he couldn't breathe anymore. That's what he'd be doing. He'd be laughing.
He'd be laughing at
He'd
his
be laughing.
organization
He is
and how
rolling in his grave.
awful. I mean, and Michael Thompson was on NBA radio today, and he was talking about, I wish Clay would have gone to the Lakers. Why? So he could make a mockery of his career?
That lets you know how bad Clay thinks of the Lakers. For one, he's got more respect to the Warriors organization than just up and team with LeBron like Ray Allen did with Boston and Miami. But also, think about it. That's Clay's hometown. That's where he was born and raised. His daddy was a legend in LA. His daddy still calls games, and he still chose to go to other pastures than to stay in LA. That's how bad it is in LA. That Clay doesn't even want to give you the hometown discount. He said, you know what? Nah, y'all ain't gonna win. It's a shit show. I'm going somewhere else.
I mean, just think about this too. He's
Clay.
joining a team that has two players who just came off an NBA Finals appearance, and two players and the team that is the defending Western Conference champions. And
I don't necessarily think it's about the players. To me, I think it's really about the way the organization's ran. Jason Kidd's a hell of a coach. They've got their damn eggs in line, like lined up, ready.
And not just that, Kev, but he's also a guy who is going to bring his defensive and intangibles to the organization to teach maybe Luka and Kyrie a thing or two about defense. Because we know Klay Thompson, when he's healthy, he's one of the best defending guards in the NBA.
I say he was. I don't say right now after the Achilles and thing he's necessarily good. I think the Mavericks really wanted Clay for the reason that Derrick Jones and PJ Washington couldn't. He put the ball in the fucking Atlantic Ocean if he put it on the side of the boat in the NBA Finals. And the way they're looking at it is like, damn, if we had somebody like Clay who can at least, even in a down year, shoot 39% from the 3-point line, which is still better than 90% of the league. If we had Clay even on a down year making 4 or 5 threes a game, it might have been 2-1 us. It might have been 2-2 for crying out loud. We might would have been in a series. But that's the way I think about the way they look at it.
You mentioned about Lonzo Ball. You mentioned he hasn't played the past 2 seasons, and to connect with that with Chicago and LA, the rumor is that DeMar DeRozan is saying his farewell to Chicago, and that he's planning to join the Lakers because he is from LA and that he wants to return home.
What? Return home to lose?
Okay. Well,
Lord.
Well,
what a clown show! And Kevin hit the nail on the head. They are the basketball version of the Dallas Cowboys.
Oof.
They are not doing jack shit in the offseason. Oh, we're all in. Yeah, all in and not making moves. That's what you are. Pathetic.
Sounds like the Lakers. I hear Laker fans every year screaming for star players. First, it was back in the day. I seen it now. We want Kawhi. We're bringing Kawhi to LA. He's gonna be a Laker. He ends up a Clipper. Now this year, we want what's his name? We want Valanciunas. He's our big fish. He's gonna be our big center. He chose Washington out of all fucking places than LA. Oh, we want Clay. We're going after Clay. LeBron called Clay at 6:01 Eastern time when the damn NBA free agency started. No, that didn't happen. Now, then it was like, we want Harden. We're going to get Harden. Harden said,
that would have been a disaster.
I'm standing on the white red side. Like everybody in the Lakers is like, we're getting such and such, and they haven't got a damn thing out of anybody. And another reason, and I find this funny, but with Klay Thompson able to sign, and I know we're talking a little bit about free agency, but Klay Thompson had to do the sign and trade for either Dallas or the Lakers to be able to actually get on the payroll. And so the Warriors actually had to help facilitate that. And it was funny because the Lakers were trying to do a sign and trade. It was like, we'll send you D'Angelo Russell. And you know what the Warriors told them before Klay even made a decision? Nah, fuck that. We don't want them. Nope, keep that trash over there. We don't want him. Nope, stay the fuck away from the Bay. Nope, we don't went through that in 2019, 2020 when KD left. Nope, keep him. We don't want him. So the Lakers didn't know what the fuck to do after that.
No,
let's You know what?
That just goes back to the Lakers. It's a shit show.
Yeah, Kevin. Let's go ahead and let's get into a little bit of free agency. By all means, there's been a lot of deals going on right now, and let's get right into some of the biggest ones. Obviously, there's been a lot of trades that came out of the NBA draft. One of the ones that kind of caught my eye was Reggie Jackson getting traded for 3 unprotected second round picks during the draft, getting sent to Charlotte.
Damn. Denver's done lost 2 of their key players that won their championship a couple years ago.
Yeah. Not
Yep.
to mention, like Ezra, also while we're talking about it, Kentavious Caldwell Pope signing with Orlando.
Yep.
That's that's a big time starter loss for Denver.
Yeah,
And that's a big time
They took a
defensive
step
presence
back.
gone too.
Yep.
exactly. Toronto re-signed their guard Emmanuel Quickly to a 5-year, $175 million contract for 5 years, so that's good for him. Tim Hardaway Jr. was traded away to Detroit
Understandable.
for Quentin Grimes. Let's see who else here. Oh yeah, Chris Paul. So Chris Paul's moved on, and I believe where is he joining now again?
He went to the
San
Spurs.
Antonio Spurs.
With San Antonio Spurs. Yep. Let's see. Seth Curry got waived by the Charlotte Hornets, but they're possibly talking about making a new deal by the end of July.
See it.
Oh, go ahead. Well, let's talk about this shocking one here. This one kind of caught my eye too, and that is Atlanta trading DeJounte Murray to the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah,
I
that
did not-
was definitely
not
shocking.
That kind of shocking.
And that was Trey Young's running mate down there in Atlanta, and now that he's gone to New Orleans. That right there just boosted the Pelicans' offense too.
Well, then I
Yeah.
mean, there raises the question. Now that Murray has been traded, is Trey Young next?
I think he is.
Yep.
Because
I mean-
if he's gone, then Atlanta is clearly going to be in rebuilding mode.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's see. How about this? Of course, how about this one right here? This one is let's see right here. How about of course Russell Westbrook? He picked up his $4 million option to stay with the Clippers.
Good, because nobody else in the league was going to offer him more than $4 million. Take the damn money and be happy.
They looked at him and they
Smart
said,
move.
I want to take a leak. This guy sucks.
Good old Russell Westbrook.
Oh. Yeah, you better take that money because nobody else was going to give it to him.
Let's
Oh
see.
yeah. What about the center from New York, Isaiah Hartenstein, signing a 3-year deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Yep.
Another
That's
good
big
move
time.
for the Thunder.
Yep. Royce O'Neal sticking around 4 years, $44 million to stay with the Phoenix Suns.
That by the way, I want to mention that real quick. I think they've had the best offseason. And people can argue and debate, but they always go under the radar. The Oklahoma City Thunder, I thought, already was a 1 seed in the West, and they actually, unlike like Denver and taking a step back or remaining the same, they've actually got significantly better. I mean, Josh Giddey was absolute dog crap in the playoffs. Alex Caruso is so much more a veteran, a guy who could come in the game, start, play off the bench, play multiple positions, guard multiple positions. He's one of the best defensive players. Again, that the Lakers fumbled, but they they got better with Caruso and then Hartenstein playing alongside Chet Homegrown. Like that. That's a good team, man. That's going to be a really good team.
Yeah, and Caruso did very good work in Chicago too. Not only with him coming off the bench and stuff, but his tenacity and his toughness. Because remember those wars with him and Grayson Allen.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Caruso wasn't
Yep.
taking no shit from anybody. He's a guy who will absolutely stand up for his team and stand up for himself. So definitely a guy who while
That's
it was
the toughness championship teams need.
yeah, and while it was heartbreaking to lose him in the process of everything, it truly was heartbreaking to lose him. It sucks, but you know what? They got a great player, and I'm happy for them, and I'm happy Caruso is going to get a good spot. Let's talk about this, and that is, of course, the big news, and that was that Paul George opted out of his contract with the Clippers and now is officially a Philadelphia 76er.
4
You know what?
years, $212 million.
Yep.
I got a bone to pick with that one.
Oh boy.
And-
Here we go.
boy.
Let's go, Kev.
Here we go.
While we talk about shit shows in Los Angeles, we can't ignore the shit show that's on the other side of Los Angeles too, and that's the Clippers. If anybody has been worse than the Lakers, it's arguably the Clippers. Let me just rephrase this. You idiots gave away 5 first-round picks, 8 picks total. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's literally a league MVP, could have won behind Jokic this year to the Thunder for Paul George. And Paul George and Kawhi combined, and I know it ain't their fault, but they played less games together than they have playoff series wins, basically. Every year it's something different. Paul George knee, Kawhi Leonard strange knee, Kawhi Leonard ACL, Kawhi Leonard shoulder, Paul George's wrist, Paul George's vagina. It's something every year. Holy cow. It's like they're in more of a shit show than the Lakers. Like it's just a shit show in the whole city of Los Angeles. Like what are they doing? And then, with all due respect to Paul George, and this is where I'm gonna say as a Warriors fan, like what the fuck are you doing, Clippers? We literally, Paul George told you, and this is what reports said from 3 different Adrian Wojnarowski and 2 other Bay Area reporters all reported the same report. Paul George came to the Clippers on Tuesday and said, I want to go to Golden State. I will opt in and you can trade me, make something happen so y'all can get something in return. His first priority destination was to play alongside Steph Curry. And you know what the Clippers said? No, we're not doing business with Golden State. We'd rather lose you and not get a fucking thing back and lose you in free agency. And that's what happened. Because they're so naive, they don't want to do business with the Warriors, I guess, from the dynasty, and they're sick of us. They were sick of us winning with Durant. They don't want to do no business. They call it the NBA tax, the anti-Warriors tax. They didn't want to do business with us. Because you don't do business with us, you basically force Paul George to say, okay, fuck y'all then. Y'all don't get shit back. I'll opt out. And that's exactly what happened. And he ended up in Philly. Now, the Clippers are stuck with nothing in return. I don't get it. They could have at least said, you know what? Give me Jonathan Kuminga 2 first-round picks, and we'll call it a deal. Because Kuminga's a star in the making. Yeah. But nope, the Clippers said, nope, we don't want nothing.
No.
We're going to lose you. But I'm optimistic about Paul George and Philly because the same thing we say about Kawhi. Unfortunately, so far, and I know it's early, we have to say about Embiid. Every year, it's something else with Joel Embiid. And I know it ain't his fault. He's a big, heavy fella. But Jesus Christ, every year, in meniscus, he's not 100% healthy. He has not been 100% healthy in any playoff series that he's ever played in. I do not believe. And what makes you think that Paul George, who is the same way, is going to go in there? I mean, if this is 2K and you cut the injuries off, sure. Hell, the Sixers might win it all. But that's not the way life works, and that's not the way the NBA works. Unfortunately, there's injuries, and Paul George and Joel Embiid, like Kawhi Leonard, are the center of those injuries for the most part. So I'm interested to see. I'm optimistic. On paper, it looks good, but let me see you stay healthy.
Not in the end, in my opinion. I mean, Philadelphia is kind of like the East equivalent to the Lakers and the Clippers because they have such a promising year. And yay, this is our year. Yay, we're going to make a deep run to the finals. Yay, we're going to make it at least to the conference finals. Yay, yay for everything. Nope. The basketball gods don't want you to succeed.
Then they get hurt.
Yep. And Embiid is at the center of this in Philadelphia. He can't stay healthy. I fell on my face. I had a laceration. I'm out of the game. Broken nose, out of the game. ACL, out. Meniscus, out. You name it. Injuries continue to pile up for Joel Embiid, former MVP. And I'll give the man this: when he is healthy, he's a great player. He's a great big guy. He's a great player. But you got to stay healthy for the full season.
Yep. Not to mention, if he even twists his pinky wrong, he's out for 4 weeks.
But I will say this, guys. I think the way the Sixers are actually thinking I agree with that logic because just like the Knicks, they're doing the same way. The way it is with the Celtics, the way you beat the Celtics is you got to have good wing players. You got to have good defensive wing players who can match Jaylen Brown and Tatum out on the wing. And that's what the Knicks did. The Knicks, by the way, and I know we ain't got to it, but Mikal Bridges trading for a young, elite defender who can make shots, who can go out there and strap up Jason Tatum, who can go out there and compete with Jaylen Brown. And then you pair him with the guy, your big-time fish from last year, OG Anunoby. He's out there on the wing that can clamp people up. That's the way the Knicks are thinking. They got a lot better. I like their chances this year to basically be in a dogfight with Boston. Same with Philly. I like their mindset. If Paul George stays healthy, you got an elite defender who can go out there and play with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. That's what you got to have to be able to beat Boston and knock them out, is you got to have an elite backcourt of defensive players. That was part of Dallas's problem. They didn't have no defensive backcourt players. Hey, poor Luka and Kyrie were getting worked the whole damn series trying to play defense. You can't do that against Boston. You got to have some guys that can play defense. And that's what Paul George does when he's healthy. That's what OG Anunoby does when he's healthy. That's what Mikal Bridges does. He's proved that in Phoenix time after time. And another thing, I like that move to the Knicks because get this. The Knicks last year, what was their Achilles heel? Injuries. Mikal Bridges has never missed a game in the NBA. He is durable as they come. That's a big plus for the Knicks right there.
Yeah.
But something tells me that Tom Thibodeau, he's got a history of running players into the ground, Derrick Rose and other guys. Thibodeau.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You're definitely not late.
And the Knicks definitely got better too in the offseason with their moves.
Yes, I agree. OG Anunoby re-signing OG Anunoby. I mean, a lot of money, but still, hey, that's your get.
And Bridges.
So you want
and Bridges coming
they
over.
definitely missed his presence. That was a big
Man, I will say real quick. Speaking about the Knicks, how about the fact that Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton showed up on SmackDown last Friday and actually did a stare down with each other? That was great.
Yeah, I thought Jalen Brunson was going to hit him in the crossover in the ring. Hit him with the head. He didn't hit him with the chair. Yeah, I thought that was pretty fun though. But yeah, I'm. Also, I want to talk about the big one, the big elephant in the room, and that is Klay Thompson joining the Dallas Mavericks.
What are your thoughts about that, Big Kev?
Man, it hurts, dude. That in the dynasty that. It's not good. I ain't gonna lie, because I never thought the day would come that we see Steph without Klay, the Splash Brothers. And I tell you, I mean, hey, I can't fault Klay though. I mean, I don't. Unlike other Warrior fans, are throwing hate, throwing shade. There's nothing you can hate on Klay Thompson about. I do not care. He is the guy that can do absolute what he wants, and everything is basically he's. I mean, come on. He has gave his blood, sweat, tears, busted his ass for this organization and this dynasty. I mean, everything good has to come to the end. I love Klay. I wish him nothing but the best. And Dallas is getting him a sharpshooter. And I hope he succeeds in Dallas. But Golden State, what the fuck are you doing in free agency right now? This ain't Dub Nation no more. It's fucking Dumb Nation. Jesus Christ.
I knew where this.
I need to get the fuck out of there right now. You you literally, what are we doing? Golden State, you replace Klay Thompson with fucking DeAnthony Melton, the guy who can't stay healthy from the Sixers, the Grizzlies. What are we doing? Are we trying to win? And now I just see news break. We signed Kyle fucking Anderson, ugly shot Kyle Anderson, to a deal. What are we doing? Well, Jesus Christ, we might not get out the damn 12th seed this year. I'm shocked, basically. I mean, I understand the Paul George, just flat out not trying anything else. You're just wasting Steph's prime. You're literally doing what the Lakers did with Kobe after 2010. You're just wasting his prime. I get you want to get under the luxury tax because Lacob doesn't want to pay to fucking win. I'm sorry. Look what fucking Boston is out there doing. They're paying fucking $500 million to 2 players. I know they're in the luxury tax. They don't care. They literally are paying Jaylen Brown $300 million. Just signed for another $120 million. Where are they getting the money? They're not. They're going in the luxury tax because they know that's what you do to fucking win. I don't know why Laker wants to get tight checkbook all of a sudden. He didn't mind paying the luxury tax with Kevin Durant and all them years. I don't get why it's a problem now, but I don't know. I guess the way he thinks is we don't make the playoffs, I'm not paying that tax. Fuck that. So I don't know, but I'm happy for Klay though that he gets to go play and still play at a high level, hopefully. And I wish him nothing but the best, man. I mean, he's been arguably a top 4 shooter in NBA history, top 3, if you ask some. Probably top 2, really. And I hope he gets his chance to shine, man. I mean, that's the best we could do. But what a dynasty to watch, man. What a fun trio of players to watch that were homegrown, drafted straight from Bob Myers, and I don't blame Bob Myers one bit. The going got tough. Bob Myers said, "Fuck that, I'm out," and gave it over to Mike Dunleavy, and Mike Dunleavy has done nothing but make himself look like a clown. Trade Jordan Poole for Chris Paul and eventually just cut Chris Paul. What are we doing? Then why did you sign Jordan Poole? Just to trade him and then give away Chris Paul too.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to bring that up too, Kev. Why did you get Chris Paul, a season ago?
Rid of him. But exactly. That goes back to what I was saying, Steven, the luxury tax. Lord forbid they had to pay $30 million to Chris Paul. No, let's cut him. What are we? And then you signed Andrew Wiggins to $140 million. Like at the time, I get it, but Jesus Christ, he was a one-trick pony in a cheap trick circus, and his one trick was the 2022 postseason. And you paid him for that? And that's where I believe Klay was offended. I believe it in my whole heart. That's what pushed Klay out, was because I know Klay's not playing like himself, and really he should start coming off the bench anywhere he goes. I mean, really, he's not your number 2 option no more. He probably is your number 3 or number 4. He's a good role player at this point in his career. But Mike Dunleavy's out there handing out fucking paychecks for what people did in the past. You paid Andrew Wiggins after they won a championship for what he did in the past, not for what you think he's doing in the future. You paid Draymond Green last year, with all due respect, because out of loyalty from how they won in the past. You ain't paying for him because you think he's going to average 20 a game every night in the future. You're paying what he did in the past. And that's all Klay Thompson's looking at it like, motherfucker, pay me for what I did in the past. I scored 60 points in 10 dribbles. You ain't going to pay me for that. Because I get it. That's where he feels slighted. And I get that. I completely, wholeheartedly get that from the Klay Thompson side. You're paying everybody else on the team other than Steph. You're paying them for what they did in the past. So why don't you pay me for what I did in the past?
You should get paid for your Madden skills.
Hey, if I got paid for my rant skills, I'd be a millionaire right now. But yeah, I don't get it. And then the big news broke out that I don't understand either. Before we cut Chris Paul, the Chicago Bulls, yes, the Bulls had a trade in place that would have took our big salaries of Andrew Wiggins and Chris Paul. The Bulls would have took on all them salaries and gave us Zach LaVine and a first-round pick. And Mike Dunleavy said no. What are we doing? Like I'm who needs more playing time. The only way he gets more playing time if you let go of Wiggins. They play the same position. Kuminga is a higher ceiling super. He is an all-star level player. He ain't never gonna break through that untapped potential because of Andrew Wiggins and his contract. I don't know what we're doing in Golden State. I really don't, but we gotta figure it out. Or y'all need to give Steph. Y'all got to do something. Trade Steph at that point. Give him the chance to go play for a team that's gonna compete.
How about all right? Now that Kevin was able to get that out of his system, let's go ahead and talk about some of the other big deals. Let's talk about a non-coach thing, and that is JB Bickerstaff joining the Detroit Pistons. There's that. We got that going on.
He's going to basketball hell.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
We talk about big paydays. We talked about Paul George. Let's talk about Tyrese Maxey. 5 years, $204 million.
That's a good deal. Great deal.
Yep, absolutely.
Maxey was your guy this year against the Knicks. That was the one who doing all the damage. While Joel Embiid was out there hobbling around, looked like he belonged in the hospital in the infirmary because he couldn't stay healthy. Maxey was the one making all the shots and plays.
Yeah. And then Jalen Smith agreed to a 3-year, $27 million contract with Chicago.
Okay.
How about this? You mentioned Isaiah Hartenstein agreed to a 3-year, $87 million deal with the Thunder, as we mentioned earlier. How about this? Tobias Harris going to Detroit, 2-year, $52 million.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, you know what? That's the best place for him to go because he got ran the fuck out of town in Philadelphia for his performance in the playoff. You know what? Kendrick Perkins did say something funny that I agree with. He said, "Listen, with the way Tobias Harris has came up empty, it's like it's the same way as if Tobias Harris went to his teammates in Philly and said, "Hey, what y'all want from Chick-fil-A?" And he comes back with nothing but empty bag with a bunch of straws. Don't have no food with him. That's him in the playoffs. He comes up with nothing. He's just out there doing cardio. So yeah, he got ran the hell out of Philadelphia. So I guess Detroit's where you go if you just want to still get a check, I guess.
Yeah. And then this next player, he got himself a nice little reward for his role in the NBA playoffs, and that is Derek White of the Celtics.
Yeah, he did.
4 years, $125.9 million deal.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. And after he got traded to the Celtics a couple years ago, I mean, the Celtics have now made their moves in the last couple of years as far as those max deals. First, it was Jaylen Brown. Then it was Jason Tatum. And then it was Derek White. Just crazy. I mean, when you got a championship to back it up, you might as well spend the money.
Yep. You mentioned, and speaking of that, Jason Tatum, let's talk about the man who set the new precedent and broke the mother trucking bank.
Yeah, he did.
5 years, $314 million.
Jesus.
My goodness. He got paid big time money.
It was insane when the news broke. I was like, what? Incredible. Some other contracts. Donovan Mitchell agreeing to a 3-year, $150.3 million deal to stay in Cleveland.
Okay.
Yep.
That's their max extension.
And if you're Cleveland, that's good for them because, I mean, Donovan Mitchell, when he was healthy all year long for the Cavs, he led that team. And hopefully Cleveland will do some good things for him in the long run because he's making an investment to stay put with that organization for the next 3 possible years or longer. And if you're going to be committing to a team that hasn't made moves in a long time, you got to start somewhere by keeping your best player. So good for Cleveland, keeping their best player.
I think they recognize the fact that as bad as Cleveland sports have been in the basketball world, Donovan Mitchell is probably the second best player Cleveland's ever had besides LeBron James. And I think they understand that. So that's a good building block to start with. So let's see if they can keep it rolling.
Yep. Speaking of the Celtics earlier, the Celtics majority owner group by Wyc Grousbeck has announced that they plan to make the franchise available for sale.
Mm,
Interesting.
Yep.
It's going to sell for a lot of money.
They said they'll sell a majority interest in early 2024 or early 2025, with the balance closing in 2028, and Wyc Grousbeck to remain as governor of team until the second closing in 2028.
Phew.
Let's see here. Orlando Magic kept Goga Bitadze on a 3-year, $25 million deal. Obviously, there are other players. Gary Harris, 2-year, $14 million deal. Stay with the Magic as well.
Okay.
Any other big deals you guys can think of at this time?
Ooh.
Oh, I do have a news story here. This broke just a couple hours ago, and that is that guy who's known for his time with the Charlotte Hornets, Kemba Walker, has announced his retirement.
Yep, I did catch that
Oh.
before we went live. 34 years old.
He was
34
left to
years
die.
old.
He was left to die in Charlotte. Poor guy.
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah.
He had a couple of good years with the Celtics. Unfortunately, couldn't stay healthy. And injuries bit him at the worst possible times. But Kemba, when he was a healthy player, no matter where he was at, he was a top player. He was a top, 15, 20 player. I mean, he was a solid guard.
Yes.
Mhm.
So he had a good career.
Yes, he did.
And obviously, he won the national title with UConn back in 2011.
I mean, let's you know what? Let's go ahead and here we go. The Cleveland Cavaliers announcing they were hiring Golden State assistant Kenny Atkinson. I'm pretty sure you guys covered that last week.
Yeah, that was one of the things we did cover last week, and I think that's a smart move on Cleveland's part because Kenny Atkinson. I mean, I know Kevin knows Kenny Atkinson quite well with his days working with Golden State, and he's been rumored as a head coach candidate for a long time now. So now he finally has a chance to be a head coach. So I wish him the best of luck over in Cleveland.
Yeah. Also, too. Let's see what else here quickly in the world of the NBA. Let's see here. I really don't have anything else to add to this. Do you guys have anything else to add?
I don't.
Okay. Let's go into some. Let's go ahead and leave the world of basketball. Let's go ahead and. I mean, really, I don't think there's any big NFL news so far. Oh. Ex-49er, Gibson was suspended 6 games.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yep. Tashawn Gibson suspended 6 games for it doesn't say exactly what he got suspended for.
I'm guessing PEDs. That's some kind of failed part of the drug policy. That's what I'm imagining.
Yeah. Otherwise, NFL's been pretty damn quiet.
I don't know. There was some interesting news about some drama going on in Dallas, though.
Oh, let's hear about this.
Micah Parsons, starting safety Malik Hooker called out Micah Parsons for the horrible Cowboys run defense against the Green Bay Packers, and then right after going on a podcast. So they got drama going on. He said, how are you going to suck at stopping the run, but then immediately go after and start your own freaking podcast right after the game? Worry about stopping the run. Then Micah responded in a long tweet on X about why did you coming to me on social media? Why ain't you saying nothing to my face and yada yada yada? So fun times in Dallas. You know
By the
what? We
way,
can eliminate this. Just sell them to the UFL. Someone tell the Cowboys to go sell the team to the UFL.
by the way, it was PEDs that Gibson got suspended for.
Oof.
Yep, I believe it.
I'm looking at Adam Schefter's feed right now, and his fucking feed is basically almost all NHL or NBA right now.
NBA, yeah. Adam Schefter's trying to be get a second job covering the NBA.
Listen to this. Yesterday was, of course, Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yes, it was.
Yep.
Here's a funny stat. Listen to this.
Yeah,
Bobby Bonilla is set to was he got paid yesterday $1.193 million dollars. That is $208,000 more than the $985,000 base salary that Brock Purdy will make this season.
God almighty.
Wow.
Best bargain in the NFL. I don't care. That's a bargain there, buddy. You get an MVP level player for $900,000. How the fuck do you beat that?
You get the bargain of the deal, Niners. Congratulations.
Oh, here we go. Let's talk about this. Jamarcus Russell was fired as a volunteer assistant coach at his alma mater, Williamson High School in Mobile, Alabama, and is facing a lawsuit accusing him of taking a $74,000 check that was meant as a to school and pocketing it himself.
What the fuck?
You know what? Let me just say this real quick. All three of them should be in the same jail. Jamarcus Russell for stealing money, Brett Favre for stealing food stamps, and Jameis Winston for stealing crab legs. Put them all in the same jail.
Oh, Lord.
What the world?
What in the world?
And yet that reminds me of my favorite Jamarcus Russell moment in the NFL. And that is when the Oakland Raiders, at the time, gave him a blank tape to see if he really studied film. He said, play this and watch it. Jamarcus Russell came in the next day and said, yep, I watched the film, coach. I know everything's going on. It was a blank tape. Oh, my God.
Yeah. That tape is about as blank as a Tony Khan run sheet.
What are we doing tonight, guys? I don't know.
But anyways,
stealing 74,000. Get out of here! Come on, like Jamarcus, you got to be better than that. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Or as we say here on the sports show, what the hell, bro?
Are you serious, bro? Are you serious, bro? Brandon Ayuk has said that he for sure wants to stay with San Francisco 49ers this season, despite his contract stalemate with the team.
Yeah, that just sounds like it's a contract negotiation talk. Like that, he even said it. He went on the podcast with Ryan Clark the other day, talking about what he really meant by that. They don't want me no more. Here's some clarity about it. They're $2 million off, basically, but he basically said the 49ers told them that we're not on the same page in negotiations right now. We don't want you. We got a long way to go to negotiate. Brandon Ayuk even clearly admitted that he used the media platform as basically leverage in his negotiations, similar to Deebo Samuel. They did the same thing with Deebo. He publicly requested a trade just to try to put pressure on the front office to pay him. That's what it boils down to. Mm-hmm. Is you're basically negotiating. The Niners want a bargain and you want your money. So it's like, what you gonna do for me? And then the other side, same way. What you gonna do for me? Something.
Yep. Also, Trevor Lawrence, he got a big payday. Well, he's going to need that big payday because he's going to have to buy cribs and diapers now because his wife him and his wife are going to have a baby.
Well, Mr. Lawrence about to become a father.
Just don't be like Nick Cannon and have 12 kids, 15 kids. You'll be all
Hey,
right.
you know what? Here's a fun fact though. He had 12 kids with multiple baby mamas, and here's the thing: if you have more than 12 kids, if you have 12 or more kids in the state of California, you don't have to pay child support.
Well, I guess that's why he wanted to be a father to that many kids.
Hey, he was going. He said he wasn't going to stop. He ain't had to pay child support no more.
Yeah, I know.
Well, hell, he don't need to feel bad. Hell, Phillip Rivers has more kids than playoff wins.
Damn.
Damn.
Oh dude, let's you know what the funny thing is? He's pumping out his own Wild and Outcast Nick Cannon is. There you go.
That'll be coming in about, I don't know, 2045 or 2050.
Yeah, no way.
Jesus.
Let's see. Real quick. Also, too, I know this isn't football right now, but we do got to mention this. This was some sad news that broke over the past couple weeks, some disheartening news, and that is that legendary college broadcaster Dick Vitale has announced that he has cancer again.
Oh, man.
Man.
Fourth battle with cancer. He said he's doing well. He's doing treatments. And we wish him all the best, and hopefully he can beat it again, just like he did before.
And also, real quick, I do want to bring this up too because I heard the news today that Ann Wilson of Heart, and a music-related note, is also battling cancer, and she's undergone chemo, and hopefully she can fight this off and kick its ass. And same thing with Dick Vitale. I mean, hopefully he can kick this ass for the fourth time and put this shit in remission.
Absolutely, man. Dick Vitale, one of the greats. Let's see. Also in other news too is that let's see here. That's the legendary Steve Gleason, who's been battling ALS the past 13 years, will receive the Pat Tillman Award, and it will be given to him. By Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting.
So, but that's pretty much all the big NFL news that I have outside of the the usual stuff. But oh wait, let's see here. I'm looking at making sure the dates are right on this stuff before we talk about it. Did you guys talk about? I'm pretty sure you did last week. Did you guys talk about the Villanova boys?
Oh, with the Bridges going to the Knicks.
Yep, reuniting of the Villanova boys, as they call it, the national championship roster.
No, because that news broke, I think, while we were still on the show, but we didn't catch it in time, or maybe it broke afterwards.
I think
it broke Tuesday night.
Yeah, it broke after our show.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
Nice move by Mikal Bridges going to the Knicks and joining his team that won the national title in 2016 against North Carolina. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I think the Knicks right now, as far as a roster, on paper, if they can stay healthy, they can compete with the Celtics. But they have to stay healthy.
Yep.
Exactly. And that's it for the world of football right there.
And and real quick, the Pacers also made a move as well, keeping their big guy. What's his name?
Obi Toppin.
No, the other guy.
Oh, I don't know. I know Miles Turner.
No, I think it's James something.
Oh, James Wiseman. No, that's
Wiseman.
James Wiseman.
No,
Yeah.
he's from Detroit. He
went from Detroit. To Indiana, so they signed him as well.
Yeah, but they re-signed Obi Toppin to a big deal too.
Yeah,
just the other day.
Yep. Indiana, if they can stay healthy and they can, Halliburton and the company, if they can keep making moves, which they are, by making some signings, unlike the Lakers.
Huh.
And that's
No,
kind
the
of,
Lakers are good, man. They got D'Angelo Russell. They don't need anybody.
Oh,
and
please.
and that's another thing too, Kevin. That's another thing as well. I mean, you got JJ Redick, who's a first-year coach. How's he going to be able to handle this?
Yeah, I think a better situation for JJ, even though he is smart, it would have been Detroit because there's no expectations in Detroit. Coaching LeBron James is one of the hardest jobs in the world because of all the fucking pressure that there's a reason why Ty Lue said, "Nah, I'm done with this."
Yeah.
And Ty Lue's a hell of a coach. I mean, he has got Frank Vogel fired. He has got Darwin Ham fired. He has got he literally it's Ty Lue in there. And
Yeah, that's true.
and after they got swept, Ty Lue's like, "No, I'm going to the Clippers. I'm going. I'm dipping." And that's when LeBron did. They said, "No, I ain't doing this no more." But yep, LeBron.
No.
I don't know. I just know from what I read on like sources and O's and details. So I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I just know what they see, and it's something that Darwin Ham don't got. But again, what is coaching? JJ might have the X's and O's, but can he be a leader of me?
Yeah, not really counting on that.
Nope.
Yeah, it's about can you lead a team? Can JJ lead a team? Or because coaching is X's and O's and details are just half of coaching, dude. Can you really lead this team?
And he said in the interview that, oh, I think me as an analyst, me as, a former player, that right there can lead me to being a great coach. You could sit there and know all the details and the ins and outs about the game of basketball, but at the end of the day, when you are in the trenches, when you are in, behind the scenes coaching a team, you got to know how to handle your players. Because at the end of the day, you can relay the game plan, and this is what we're going to do. But at the end of the day, it's up to the players to follow your set game plan. Because, like you said,
Yep.
Kevin, coaching LeBron is a difficult job.
Yep. And you know what, though? If he succeeds, he'll earn the respect of everybody. I promise you that, because that is how Eric Spoelstra got to where he was. Remember, he came in and he stunk the first couple of years. Then he started winning with LeBron, and because he won with LeBron, he got so much respect put on his name, and he didn't have no coaching experience like that. But the fact that he was able to win it, like they say, winning eliminates everything. So if you can win, you can eliminate. That's the difference, though. When Steve Kerr came in from not having no coaching experience, just general manager experience, and he was a former player, Steve Kerr had a big three in their prime that was young and was willing to listen. Like they were young puppies. Steph, Clay, and Draymond were young puppies, basically listening to you coach. LeBron and AD's not going to listen to JJ Redick because they're going to be like, "Motherfucker, we played in the league with you. You're not our coach."
That's why I don't like this move at
What?
all. I never
Like you're
have liked this
coaching,
move from the get-go.
You
you're
see,
coaching the YMCA senior citizen center because you're coaching a bunch of old farts instead of coaching a bunch of damn young guys. Like when
YMCA.
Steve Kerr coached Steph, he was 23 years old. So I mean, he was coaching Clay at 22. Like they were young. LeBron's damn 58 and AD's like 40 with fragile knees.
Seriously, can somebody come up with the remakes of the YMCA and make fun of the Lakers, please? Thank you very much.
seriously.
They really should. But hey, fellas, I gotta hop off here for tonight.
And to all you
Get
Laker
the little
fans,
girl ready
you have
for,
been spared a beatdown courtesy of
baths.
Kevin Rory.
Yeah, so if you want
Alright,
to join
yeah,
the
peace
circus,
out,
just go
bro.
to the crypto.com arena. All right, guys, I'll holla at y'all.
Later, brother.
All right, peace.
Later. Oh, that was
See,
fantastic.
and also one thing to bring up: Steve Kerr also played or was once teammates with the one and only Michael Jordan.
Yep.
So
And
that's
Tim Duncan.
his leadership.
And Tim Duncan.
Yeah, that's true. Tim Duncan as well. But there is a major question going around that really hasn't been talked about on SportsCenter as of late, and that is the fact now that free agency has started, there is one major name that has, that made news flashes earlier in the season by saying he was thinking about going elsewhere, but now he's pretty much been flying under the radar. So now could be a time for him to strike now that free agency has actually started, and this arises a major question. As of right now, what does the future hold for Mr. Kevin Durant?
That is an excellent question because Kevin Durant, ever since he has left the Golden State Warriors and went to the Brooklyn Nets and then the Phoenix Suns, he hasn't had a lot of success. He had
really hasn't.
he had that 1 year in Brooklyn when they went to 7 games against the Bucks in the Eastern Conference semifinals and had over 40 points, 48 points to be exact in game 7. Up until that, after that, he hasn't had a lot of success. I mean, this Phoenix run, it's been all right, but it hasn't been great.
I mean, if he decides to stick around with Phoenix and learns under Coach Budenholzer, I mean, Durant could be better, but there lies the question: is Durant gonna stick around? Because he's been talking about going elsewhere. I mean, he hasn't really
honestly,
mentioned
Joey, I don't think he is
location.
sticking around. I think he's moving along.
Okay, so let me ask you this: where do you see him going? Do you see him actually going to a team in the Eastern Conference, or do you see him sticking in the West? Because
Ooh.
he's only played for one Eastern Conference team, and that's the Brooklyn Nets. Other than that, he's been with the Thunder, the Warriors, and now he's with Phoenix.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. I don't know because part of me's thinking that's the thing. He's not gonna be a bench player. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not a bench player. He's not going to Boston because Boston's roster's loaded. They got
Boston's roster is definitely loaded.
he's not going to Boston. I say a slim chance the Knicks if he wanted to be off the bench, because
He ain't.
but that's why I say a slim chance.
He ain't gonna want to be a bench player.
I
I can
honestly
tell you that right.
think if he goes anywhere, if it's the Eastern Conference, I'm thinking Philadelphia.
Well, that could be interesting, but is Philadelphia going to have the cap space
That's
to
another thing.
And to give Kevin Durant what he might be asking for?
Now, if he stays in the West, I would say maybe Denver needs to go after him because, man, they have taken a hit with some of their cuts. I mean, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Now that Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is gone,
and that Reggie Jackson's gone, that is 2 pieces of your championship team. And if you're Denver, you need to make a splash because that's one offensive weapon gone in Caldwell-Pope. And if they get Durant, I think they're back. I mean, are they still going to be dangerous with, they don't make a significant splash? Yeah, because you still got Jokic and you still got Murray. But if I'm Denver, I need to make a move because he's not going to go to Houston. I'm sorry, he's not. San Antonio, I don't see him fitting down there. Golden State, I think that's done. He's not going back to Golden State. I'll be surprised if he goes to Golden State again. But I'll tell you the biggest surprise for me. If he goes back to the place that he called home for 9 years, Oklahoma City. Think about
That would
this.
be. I mean, that definitely would be a surprise.
If Durant did go back to Oklahoma City and he was a part of them leading them to a championship, he would right all the wrongs that he did by leaving Oklahoma City and going to Golden State to win a couple of titles. If he was to return to the place that he called home for nearly 10 years and lead this Thunder team to a championship, he may not be the leading piece, but he could be the leading perspective from the locker room's point of view. Because we know when Durant has his mindset, he's one of the best players to still lace up a pair of sneakers.
He does.
And for me, Joey and Ezra, I'll ask you guys this. Was it just me, or was Durant really not engaged in Phoenix? Like, yeah, Devin Booker's a great player, but Bradley Beal was the weakest link.
Bradley Beal was a bust.
He was the weakest link on this team as far as the big three. He's still a quality jump shooter, but he just wasn't playing great. He was injured a lot. And if I'm Durant, like, I don't know. Like, I just got the vibe that I'm like, man, he's not in it. Like, his heart's not in it. Like, he's just out there going through the motions, walking to the park. Just going out.
Bradley Beal, for one thing. Bradley Beal, ever since he left the Wizards, he became a bust. Even when he was with the Wizards, he was a bust. And Kevin Durant was literally running around with his head cut off like a chicken, trying to help Devin Booker as much as possible. So, yeah, I can tell he wasn't committed. His heart wasn't in it. And this may seem like a really long shot, but I have a strong prediction as to where Kevin Durant might land. And I feel that this is a team that he could definitely bring some veteran presence with, along with another certain player. And not to mention, he has history with the head coach. The team that I'm possibly thinking about is a team that has a lot of talent. They could still use like some veteran presence. And I feel that if they play their cards right, Durant could really be a key factor for this team. And the team that I'm thinking about is the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Okay.
Didn't expect that one.
Because imagine him forming a tandem with Donovan Mitchell for one thing, and the new head coach is a player that Durant, is a guy that Durant has history with in Golden State, and that being Kenny Atkinson. So it could work.
Did not expect that. That's a good point, because obviously him and Kenny were down there in Golden State during their championship run.
That's right. It honestly could work. Him joining a team led by, of course, Donovan Mitchell, and also who's some of the other Cleveland players? There's Evan Mobley. There's Darius Garland, Jared Allen, and of course, that single-handedly guided Miami to the NBA Finals back in 2023, Max Strus.
Yep.
And not to mention, Tristan Thompson is still on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
So, Cleveland, they could benefit from landing somebody like Durant.
They could. That's why I'm saying, like, if he was to go somewhere else, like back to Oklahoma City, because they can make some moves if the Thunder wanted to.
Yep.
If it were me, I would hope that Durant would return home to the Thunder. because that would bring a boost of energy to the city and to the team.
It really would. And see,
you got a young guy
him-
and Gillis Alexander, who is an MVP top player in the NBA. You got Caruso, who just came over from Chicago to the Thunder. You got all this talent. Hartenstein. You got all this great young talent. If you get a veteran voice on that team in KD, who has history not only with the city but also winning a championship, even though it was with Golden State. But if he does return back to Oklahoma City, he can pull the same move that LeBron did. LeBron went to Miami to win. He went to win a championship with the best players. Now he's bringing his championship wisdom back to the city that he called home for the first 7 seasons of his career from 2003 to 2010. If Durant comes back to the place that he called home 8 years after he left and he leads this team to a title, that right there will wash away all of the hatred that Thunder fans and fans like myself, of the NBA and sports in general, because I questioned that move because, you took the easy way out to win a championship and to win multiple championships with Golden State. And you can't beat him, join him, and he did. And and honestly, Durant going there and winning those 2 championships, and if he didn't get injured, he would have won a 3rd title, with them in a row. But Durant going to Golden State and having their dominant run, and honestly, for the longest time it took, and I know I said this, and even Tree, when we interviewed him a couple of years ago, he even said to me and the Marks from New Mexico, he said that when Durant was there with Golden State, the NBA wasn't fun to him anymore because they were dominating. And ever since the anti-Warriors, type of thing in the offseason, with the the cap and stuff like that, where you can't even make those kind of moves anymore to keep your players for a long term, unless you take a hit from the tax and all that type of stuff. But ever since there's been a lot of parity in the NBA, now everybody has a shot to win a championship, it seems like, which is a great thing. Because it's not a for sure gone conclusion if Boston will be back in the finals next year and representing the East as champions again. We don't know. That's the beauty of the NBA now, as they are experiencing what the NFL has experienced for the longest time and what Major League Baseball has experienced for years. That's parity. And if you're any of these NBA teams that made the postseason last year, hey, if I make one bold move, I could be back where I want to be in the playoffs, and more importantly, one step closer to a title.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. And I definitely agree Thunder would probably be his best option, but I wouldn't rule out Cleveland either. Both sound like pretty good options, obviously. Thunder to right all the wrongs, like you said, but also go to Cleveland to help them back to prominence. But
full disclosure, I would not be surprised if he did go to Denver, because Denver needs to make a move.
Mm-hmm.
They lost 2 contributing factors to their championship team a couple years ago. You lose KCP, that's a huge loss on the defensive end of the basketball.
Exactly.
And you lose Reggie Jackson's shot making too.
Yes, you do. Let's see what else. Let's get into some MLB stuff real quick.
The New York Mets, my goodness gracious. Ever since Grimace has thrown out that pitch, they've been on a roll. And I know we were watching Raw last night. Also, Monrovia Mike and was keeping up with the Mets and Nationals game. It was tied up 3-3, and the Mets went on a massive scoring run in the 10th inning to go up 9-3. Yep. Insane what the Mets are doing right now.
Yeah, the Nationals are up 2-1 right now on the Mets right now in the 6th. Or no, you're ready to start the top of the 7th. The inning just ended, so.
The Astros have been on a winning streak right now.
The Mets have been on a roll, but they're still several games behind Philly and Atlanta in the NL East. Sorry, Elder, but the Mets still suck. Oh, but here's something worth talking about for Major League Baseball. It has been reported as of I think it was Sunday that the rules for the 2024 Home Run Derby have changed a little bit this
Oh,
year.
really?
Yes,
Interesting.
they have. Let's see. This was reported by Buster Olney. Let's see. Let me see what the biggest let me see what the big changes are. So the past several years we have seen matchups that have been randomly determined as to who faces who in the home run derby, and of course the most home runs goes to the next round. Well, that is now done. It's going back to the old format in which all 8 hitters will hit, and the ones that hit the most, or the top 4 that hit the most home runs, will advance. And a tie, and if there's a tie, it's going to be broken by the longest home run in the first round. In the semis, it's going to be bracket style. 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3 based on the first round home run totals. And of course, in the finals, the top 2 are going to face off. Now, here are the rules. The first round is going to be a 3-minute round with a maximum of 40 pitches. Maximum.
That's right. Okay,
And
because you used to real quick, they used to be able to hit as many balls as they wanted to.
Yeah, but now it is a maximum of 40 pitches. And of course, there's still one timeout. Let's see. There are 3 bonus outs. Every swing is, of course, either a home run or an out. And if a player hits a home run that goes over 425 feet, it's going to earn them a 4th bonus out. And then in the finals, it is going to be only a 2-minute round, but with a maximum of 27 pitches. So the home run derby rules have changed quite a bit. And speaking of the home run derby, it's going to be coming our way. I believe it is July the 15th, since the All-Star Game is the 16th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, it's going to be broadcasted on ESPN July 15th down in Arlington, Texas, with the All-Star Game. I believe it is going to be on Fox July 16th. So check your local listings for both of those events.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Let's see here. In other news, let's see here.
Real quick, I do find that the rule change is interesting because it makes the home run derby even more competitive. Because if you miss a couple of swings and then you're down a couple of runs, that makes you swing even more harder for the fences. So I do like the competitive aspect of it.
And I mean, a player could still have 30 seconds of game. A player could still have 30 seconds to go, but if they face that 40th pitch, they're done. No more.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but I think that's it as far as baseball. But before Kevin was coming on, we were talking about
UFC 303.
And that's the one thing I was fixing to bring up as well, when it comes to UFC. And Ezra, we talked about this before, how the Ultimate Fighting Championship is not just built on its legitimate fights. It's also built on superstars, that can bring people to the product. And Conor McGregor has been the spokesman of the UFC for the longest time. Such a great trash talker, and getting people engaged into the fights and coming to the fights and purchasing them at home, And when this injury went down, it occurred to me, I'm like, man, the UFC cannot catch a single solitary break. Like, when you are dealing with the injuries that they are dealing with, you cannot afford to lose your top fighters, because the people that fly out of state, out of country to come to these fights, to see these big time fighters step inside the octagon and throw it down. People were, if you couldn't, cancel your flight, if you bought your ticket, you're screwed. There's no way getting out of the refund, because there is no refund. So people bought their tickets in advance for this to be scheduled Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor fight, and on paper, that was going to be a phenomenal fight.
Yeah.
But, as we all know, card subject to change. And the timing could not have come worse for the UFC. And honestly, even like we talked about it before, their last pay-per-view was not good. It was horrible. Like, the fights were not good. The pacing wasn't good. There was hardly any fights on that card that is worth the money. And that's another thing, too. These fights are so damn expensive. Like, to the people that don't even want to go out to make the traveling arrangements to go out to the fight and want to watch at home, and you look at that card, you're going, is this worth the money? The answer is no. Because when there's not a star caliber, high quality fight on paper on the card, it makes people that are not going to the event in person in Vegas not wanting to plunk down, like $70, possibly $80, $60 something per fight? Like, I mean, the UFC needs more stars.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of star power anymore. There's no Tito Ortiz walking through that door anymore. There's no Chuck Liddell walking through that door. There's no Randy Couture walking through that door. There's no Ken Shamrock walking through that door. You get my drift. There's no what's his face? The guy that fought Ortiz all those years. Oh my God. He fought Ortiz in his last UFC fight. Oh my God, what is his name? I cannot say that when you get a person in your head. And
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, Brock Lesnar obviously not fighting there anymore. Frank Mir,
Matt Hughes, Rich Franklin. We could keep going on and on and on, but like you said, there is no star power. There's no star power like a Conor McGregor. There's no star power like those guys, anymore. It's hard to really find. A lot of these guys are trying to be stars. Guys like Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal, Cody Garbrandt. These guys are definitely putting in their best efforts. Michael Venom Page is another one. And these guys are trying to put their best star efforts into it, but nobody's on the level of Conor. And who's kind of taking the reins of Conor's style in wrestling right now is New Japan Openweight champ Gabriel Kidd, who's really taken Conor's trash talking style and brought it to more of an insane level. But that's a whole different story for a whole nother show. But you're right. This fight card had a great fight attached to it, and then unfortunately Conor got injured. That was it. But I mean, it's a great fight, don't get me wrong. Michael Venom Page unfortunately lost his first loss in the UFC. But we saw a great main event between Jiri Prochazka and Alex Pereira, where Alex won in the second round with a head kick knockout. A head kick followed by some strikes on the ground, which was it was a very, very good fight. So definitely, if you get a chance to check out at least the clips of that fight, which are available all over social media. So
Yes, David, were you talking about Tito Ortiz?
Oh, that's the guy, Forrest Griffin.
Forrest Griffin, yes.
Griffin. That's another great fighter, another star caliber fighter.
Yep, UFC. Yep, the guy who fought in the very first Ultimate Fighter finale.
How can I forget Griffin? He was a hell of a fighter.
Still, Anderson Silva kicked his ass and broke his spirit.
That's another guy, Anderson Silva.
Yep.
I mean,
and
George
a
St. Pierre.
lot of fighters have come and gone from the octagon into UFC, and they
And of
are
course-
starving for talent to be a leading star, leading these fights.
It's true, and of course, not to mention Chuck Liddell.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing about the UFC that you could be a great fighter, but at the end of the day, you got to have a character. You got to have the. I mean, look at Cormier. I mean, DC is one of the best pound for pound fighters in the UFC, and not only could he fight, he could also talk trash, and he could kick your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a quick fighter real quick on that card, and that was a fighter by the name of Ray Suruya. Ray Suruya was accompanied to the ring by not just anybody, but the king of strong style himself, Mr. Shinsuke Nakamura.
Nice.
Nakamura is actually
Nice.
friends with his father, whose father was a combat sports specialist. And we also know that Shinsuke has also dabbled in the world of MMA as well and has had several professional fights. So Shinsuke was in the corner of Ray Suruya, and Ray won his fight. And at the end, after they did the post fight interview, him and the entire crew did the Shinsuke pose with the arms crossed and the fingers out, just like Shinsuke would. At the end, there's a nice little photo, but wanted to do that little crossover thing real quick.
Oh, but real quick, I think it was the main event of the night. How about that kick by Alex Pereira?
Yeah.
Holy ow! That kick knocked Projaska out cold. Oh my gosh. That kick was brutal.
Yeah, it was. Flush right on the side. Flush right on the side of the head. That's exactly how you want to land it. So,
Yep.
anything else you guys want to talk about before we roll out of here for the day?
Oh, real quick, I do want to bring up the Wyatt 6 from last night.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Unreal.
Another great tape from Bo Dallas in the Uncle Howdy interview. Now it seems like Uncle Howdy and Bo are officially one now. And where it leads from here, I don't know. Are we going to see more tapes? Are we going to see the others? Who knows? But yes, it's been excellent so far. I can't complain. The stuff with Chad Gable, with him trying to escape, and all the White 6 members are blocking the exits. And then, of course,
and Gable's like, "Oh, I'm screwed. I know they're targeting me. Da 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 da. And he's running for his life, and he knows that he's screwed, and he knows that the White 6 are after him, and I got goosebumps last night as that video kept progressing, and you could just feel the tension, and the way Taylor Rotunda and Uncle Howdy, were speaking, when just good stuff.
Joey
And the Money in the Bank will be this Saturday
That's right.
at a special start time of 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific.
Yep.
And also, as a programming note, the Nation's Corner will not be live this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. They will be taking the week off, and they will be back next week.
Yep.
So yeah, they'll have plenty of stuff to talk about from Money in the Bank Saturday night to NXT Heatwave on Sunday night.
Yep.
Yep, with the 4-way match main event between Sean Spears, Siobhan Evans, All Ego Ethan Page, and the NXT champion Trick Williams. Also, Roxanne Perez versus Lola Vice for the NXT Women's title. And who knows? Somebody may end up saying his name, and he may appear.
Who knows? And also, AEW Forbidden Door happened this past Sunday, and overall, I thought it was a pretty solid show. There was some good matches highlighted by Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay absolutely tearing the house down at the UBS Arena up there in Long Island, New York City.
Yep, that big.
Oh, but real quick, in regards to Forbidden Door, how about the one and only Britt Baker making her return.
It's about damn time. Because
And
I
hopefully,
mean,
with her returning, that Ms. Jamie Hayter won't be far behind either.
yep. And shout out to Stephanie
That's
Vaquer.
true.
Stephanie Vaquer is an incredible talent.
Hell yeah.
I mean, she was so good in her match against Mercedes. I was like, I really don't know who she is, but she's one hell of a wrestler. And I love the ladder match. I thought it was a good match. Danielson, my God. I mean, what more can I say? I mean, Bryan Danielson is a technical specimen in that ring. I mean, his match on Sunday was phenomenal as well.
Of course, those two have battled many a times over the years. Shingo and Danielson, dating back to when Shingo was in Dragon Gate and Danielson was, I think, either just gotten let go of the WWE after the whole Nexus incident.
Mm-hmm.
Shingo had several wars throughout the years, and all of them have been super physical, just as much as this one was.
Him and Shingo told a story in that ring. They were physical with one another, were stiff as all hell. They laid their shit in. They got, they both put on a great match. And hats off to both guys telling a great story in the ring. And just, I will be interested to see what happens on the next couple of Dynamites. I mean, with Britt Baker now coming back, that means maybe Jamie Hayter's not far behind. And hopefully she won't be far behind because the roster, is in needing of more talent. And I think Mercedes now is going to be a full-blown heel. And that Long Island crowd was in rare form on Sunday. They had a couple of fuck the Celtics chants, fuck the Red Sox. They were booing Mercedes out of the building. I mean, just it was great stuff. I mean, the crowd was into it, for the most part all night. And just overall, that was a pretty solid show.
Yeah, definitely.
There was a couple matches I'm like, why are they here? But what can you do? But there was a couple matches that were definitely great. Like I said, Ospreay and Strickland they beat the hell out of each other, and it was a great match.
The TNT title ladder match was an absolute chaos,
Yes.
as expected. Good to see my boy ELP El Phantasmo competing on the show. Of course, huge fan of his from New Japan. Glad he was there. He took a monstrous Blue Thunder Bomb off the ring apron.
Oh, yeah.
Two tables. And he had Mark Briscoe with the froggy bow off the ladder.
Chicken!
Yep. Just overall, some of the buffs these men took was insane. But yeah, definitely got to it was a great show. But also too with you mentioned Forbidden Door. Also, don't forget this week, tomorrow night on Dynamite, we'll be live from the Wintrust Arena in Chicago, Illinois for Beach Break.
Yep, and also tomorrow, we've been waiting for this for the longest time, and as The Rock would say, finally, the WWE WrestleMania 40 documentary is being released tomorrow on YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern.
I will be watching, that's for sure.
Oh, I am so excited. The Rock, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and obviously Paul Heyman and head writer Brian Gewirtz took us on a hell of a ride that spanned January into April for WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, and I am all here for it. Cannot wait for this.
Can't wait for the doc as well.
And speaking of Brian Gewirtz, if anybody has not heard that interview with Brian with Busted Open, do yourself a favor and go check that out on YouTube. It is there on the archives. It is there for you to see and listen. It is a phenomenal 1+ hour interview with Gewirtz, and it's a phenomenal piece of business. And yeah, I am so excited for this documentary tomorrow. I mean, WWE right now is just freaking killing it. Killing it. I mean, so excited. The stories make sense. You can tell the guys and the gals are having a great time going out there, putting their bodies on the line, busting their asses for our love of professional wrestling. And we couldn't be more excited for what's to come, because And real quick also too, holy shit, Jacob Fatu on Friday, and a couple weeks ago debuting as well. And then last week, Paul Heyman, my goodness, 58 years old, taking bumps like that. I mean, that was amazing. I mean, here's Jacob Fatu, and here's the, Tungaloa. Here's Tama Tonga. They're acknowledging Solo Sokoa as their new tribal chief. Paul Heyman says, I ain't got time for that monkey crap. It says, Solo, I love you, but I do not acknowledge you as my tribal chief. And they proceed to beat the hell out of him. And just incredible. Incredible piece of business. I mean, they're connecting the dots. Everything makes sense. And I'm hanging on by the edge of my seat every time WWE is on television.
Yep, absolutely, man. And one other thing I do want to point out too, also about we were just going through about the documentary and about what you said about Jacob Fatu. Two things. Number one, for those who don't know about Jacob Fatu, you're gonna learn real quick. Not only about his in-ring ability, but his promo work. If you've never seen him in MLW, you're in for a treat. Trust me. He reminds me a lot of Nick Gage because his promos, when he tells you something, you better believe he's gonna fucking do it. Also, I want to point out to those criticizing the Naito Moxley match, what a lot of people who may not know about Tetsuya Naito is that he is not the Tetsuya Naito from 5-10 years ago. Naito has a litany of injuries. He's got an eye injury that causes double vision, which he has to get corrected. But if he goes for the full surgery, it could end his in-ring career. He's got 2 knees that are both shot, need surgery on him, and he needs to take a big amount of time off, and he doesn't do it. That's why his knees are heavily taped. And I'm not talking wrestling heavily taped like they say. I guess Joey had to go, unless he lost his internet. But his knees are so bad that they have to be heavily wrapped and bandaged in order for him to compete. So Naito's got linear health problems. That's why he's not as slow and as quick as he used to be. But we'll just leave it at that. Steven, let's go ahead and close this show out like we always do, brother. Go ahead, brother.
Great show with you guys. Great having Kevin on tonight, breaking down the NBA free agency so far. And man, it's just getting started, and we'll be back on here next week to talk about the next slate of news in the NBA and whatever comes our way. And just looking forward to another great summer run with you guys. And looking forward to next month when we start our NFL coverage. And that will be here just before you know it. I mean, it is crazy how we're 2 months away from the NFL season getting underway. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's at Owen_Sports Show, Facebook and YouTube.com, both at Our Nation Sports Show, where we are live on every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. Again, programming note that the Nation's Corner will not be live this Saturday due to Money in the Bank happening at the same time. And the pre-show does start at 5 o'clock Eastern, and the main show goes live at 7 p.m. Eastern. And the Nation's Corner will be back next week at its same start time of 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. And with that being said, great show with you guys. Ezra, wrap us up, my friend.
Sure will, Steven. Thank you so much to everybody for joining us. As always, we appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Everybody who's watched this live, anybody who's watched this on demand, we appreciate your support. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video, like this channel, share it with your friends, your family, whoever. Help us get those subscriber numbers up, and we'd love to keep doing this show because we love doing it for you guys.
Also, real quick, will not be reminiscent if I didn't bring this up. Tomorrow, it is our boy right here, Ezra's birthday. So, brother, happy early birthday.
Thank you, Steven, and thank you to everybody here at the Sports Show. Thank you to everybody in Nation's Corner, Too Sweet Cosplay, everybody around for the upcoming birthday wishes, the family, friends, all that. Thank you guys so much. 33 years old. Another year added on to the notch. I'm excited. I'm excited to enjoy the day tomorrow with the family. Celebrating tonight, celebrating on Friday as well. Can't wait to hang out tonight with our crew. So thank you guys once again. And for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it a lot. So let's close it out here. Of course, follow our individual social medias, follow To Speak Gospel, follow Nation's Corner, all that good stuff. So for Kevin Rory, for Randy Geyer, for Stephen Wyand, for Joey Thornton, and for everybody out there in our sports nation, I am Ezra Vickery. We will see you right here next week with another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. You have a great week, and we will see you all next time. Same YouTube channel. Peace out, everybody.